Okay, so let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
This week we're going to be looking at all the economic data coming out of Europe and the U.S.
Right.
We've got a ton of reports, charts, the whole 9 yards to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy week for sure.
It is a busy week, and it actually starts a little bit slow
Oh, how so?
because Monday, the U.S. markets are closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day,
Right, yeah.
and Japan's markets are closed for Respect for the Aged Day.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that kind of gives us a little bit of a slow start Monday, but then Tuesday things really kick off.
They do. And, because the U.S. and Japan are kind of offline for the day, that makes what happens in Europe on Tuesday even more important, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing that we're looking at on Tuesday is the ZEW economic sentiment data.
Yep.
Which comes out for both Germany and the Eurozone.
Right.
And I got to say, sometimes these sentiment surveys, I don't know, I have a hard time with them.
Well, yeah, it's not hard data, right?
Yeah, they feel a little bit fuzzy sometimes.
They do, but think about it this way. This survey is talking to analysts who are literally forecasting the economy.
Yeah.
It's their job to get this right.
Yeah, that's true.
And what we see is that their expectations actually move markets before we see hard data confirming any of those trends.
So it's almost like getting a sneak peek
Yeah.
at what the experts are thinking.
Exactly. It's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain
Okay.
to see, are they getting more bullish? Are they getting more bearish on the economy?
And how would someone use that information then?
Well, it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're an investor, this could be a signal to adjust your portfolio. Maybe you get out of certain assets, you get into other assets. Or even if you're just running a business,
Right.
This can help you prepare for where the economic winds are blowing.
Yeah, you can kind of batten down the hatches or open the sails depending on what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Okay, so Tuesday, we're kind of reading the tea leaves a little bit.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we get a little bit more hard data.
Yeah, Wednesday, the numbers start rolling in.
We've got the industrial production figures coming out of the Eurozone. But the big one, the big event I think everybody's going to be watching is
Definitely.
the U.S. inflation data,
Yes. The CPI.
the CPI release.
That's going to be the one to watch. I think a lot of analysts are looking for.
Okay.
Maybe even an inflation surprise
Oh, really?
this month.
Wow. So if inflation is hotter than expected,
Yeah, that could really shake things up. It could force the European Central Bank to start rethinking their strategy.
interesting. So do they have any room to maneuver, or are they kind of boxed in at this point?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right.
And that's what makes Thursday so interesting.
Okay.
Because on Thursday, not only do we get the German inflation data,
Mm-hmm.
we also get the European Central Bank meeting notes.
Oh, right. And on top of that, we also have the U.S. initial jobless claims and core retail sales data coming out.
Yeah, Thursday's a busy one.
It's a lot.
You get that two-sided view. Yeah.
What's the ECB saying they're going to do? And then what's the data saying about the real U.S. economy?
Right.
Jobs, consumer spending.
Can you see if reality is matching up with what the central bank wants?
Okay, so let me ask you this. Put on your investor hat for a second.
Okay.
If you were looking at all of this data coming out on Thursday,
Yeah.
which of these numbers would make you want to buy or sell?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be looking at those initial jobless claims numbers
Oh.
from the U.S. I think if we see a big jump in those claims, that could be an early warning sign
Yeah.
that the labor market is starting to weaken.
Right.
And that would have ripple effects across the whole economy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a buy signal for me.
Okay, interesting. All right, and then we get to Friday. It's just a deluge.
Friday is drink from the fire hose day.
We've got China's GDP data, industrial production figures coming out.
Yep.
We have more Eurozone inflation data.
Yep.
And then even more U.S. building permits and industrial production data.
Right. Like, how do you even process all of this?
I think the key is to remember it's all connected.
Okay.
We're looking at China's economic health, which affects both Europe and the U.S. Strong performance there could boost confidence globally.
Right.
But if they're slowing down, that's going to raise some eyebrows.
So we've got a lot going on this week.
We do.
We've got inflation worries.
Yeah.
We've got signs of a potential economic slowdown. And the central banks are trying to walk a tightrope.
Absolutely. It's going to be a busy one.
So I guess the question for our listeners is, by the time Friday afternoon rolls around, are you going to be feeling optimistic
Yeah.
or pessimistic about where things are headed?
That's the big question.
That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.